Hello everybody, my name is Conline3639. Welcome back to another video. Today, in this one, it's another meta slash set analysis on Ancient Guardian. Yes, it's that time again to do one of these again because another set is just about to come out. This is another deck building set, so so it contains 3 decks with, reprints to go alongside of those decks. Now, it's very important to watch these sets because sometimes it produces Adamanticators and Drytron. So we always got to be careful on what these produce and stuff like that. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting. So in this video, I'm going to be covering all the archetypes in the set, the reprints that go alongside them, and then some generic reprints as well. So without further ado, let's get straight into the video. So some info on Ancient Guardians. So Ancient Guardians will be coming out May 7th, which is actually this Friday, as a matter of fact. That's 2 days away from when this will get released. It's a 60 card set, so in all things considered, a very small set with 35 rares, 15 super rares, 10 ultras, and there is 6 collector rares in here as well. I think it's 6 so far. I think that's all we know as of me recording this. They could announce more in the future, upcoming days, stuff like that. 7 cards per pack, of course, it will be $4.99, as all packs are in Yu-Gi-Oh! It's $4.99. 7 cards per pack, 6 rares, and a guaranteed foil card, which is usually going to be a super. If you get that lucky ultra, congratulations. So that is the info on the set. So starting off with some generic reprints now, we got Dino Wrestler Pankratops, which honestly technically is a reprint, but it's being reprinted as a collector's rare. There's no other way to get Dino Wrestler Pankratops in Ancient Guardians besides it being a collector's rare. So it's kind of like it's getting reprinted at a higher rarity kind of thing. It's like Forbidden Droplet getting reprinted at a ultimate rare. They would never do that. No. Why would they do that? They would never do that. But we also have Trade-In as well. It's technically a part of an archetype, but I consider it a somewhat generic card as well. And then Skullmeister is also getting a very good generic reprint in this set. Considering a lot of these archetypes, there is an archetype in the game that is a graveyard-based strategy. It's kind of getting reprinted with that. But Skullmeister, a very good hand trap in today's current meta, getting a very good generic reprint here. I am all for that. So yeah, that's it for the generic reprints here. Now covering our first archetype in Ancient Guardians is starting off with Ogdoadic. That's not how you pronounce it. Starting off with Ogdoadic. Is that?
Ogdoadic.
Ogdoadic?
Ogdoadic.
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 Ogdoadic. Starting off with the Ogdoadic archetype, also known as just fucking Abhyss. I don't know why they decided to change the name of this archetype. Abhyss was good enough. Hell, even the boss monster for the entire archetype still has Abhyss in there. I just don't get why they changed it to Ogdoadic when Abhyss was a very good name in the first place. But this is a generic graveyard-based strategy that can take advantage of Snake Rain. Snake Rain being one of those broken cards in the making kind of thing, never had the archetype. Well, they printed an archetype for it, and that is this archetype. Now, if you want a full detail on what this deck can do, I do have a card analysis video on this. I'll put it in the link in the description down below so you can get full details into it. But however, just to sum it up, it's not as good as you think. Yes, it can use the advantage of Snake Rain and stuff like that. But man, there's really no end board to this. Yes, the somewhat boss monsters are good, but they require 2 tributes to be on the field, which is very hard to do inside the deck. But it has a Foolish Burial and Snake Lily of the Abyss, and stuff like that. And the field spell is pretty much garbage with this as well. It's an overall is not that good of a archetype as just summing things up, but it's a deck that can use Snake Rain. There's that. But now let's get into the reprints this is getting. Now, in getting into the reprints that the Abhyss archetype is getting, of course, Snake Rain is of course one of those reprints because, well, the whole deck was kind of revolved around Snake Rain. So there's that. So that's getting a reprint in this set. It's actually getting a collector rare as well. We got Viper's Rebirth in here as well. It's kind of like a Monster Reborn for the reptiles. We got Offering to the Snake Deity. So this is pretty good card. If you target one face-up reptile you control and 2 cards your opponent controls, destroy all 3. That's very much of a good card, especially since you can get most of your Abhyss cards back from the graveyard. So that's actually very good. And then King of the Feral Imps as well is a good reprint. considering that the deck can actually make 2 level 4s in the deck very good, and this can search out another reptile monster for you. So very, very good card overall. So yeah, those are the good reprints in for the Snake Rain archetype. Now let's cover the bad reprints for the Abhyss archetype. Now on to the bad reprints for the archetype, and that's basically all the Venomi Naga bullshit, except for offering it to the Snake Deity, which is technically a part of the Venomi Naga archetype, because, you know, they have the same art and everything. Everything else is pretty much garbage, like, especially the boss monster. Like, man, there's a win condition to it. I mean, yeah, but it's just... We'll see. It is a very powerful monster, but considering Rise, you need Rise as the Snake Deity to pull it out, and all this stuff like that. You have Venom, the king of the poisonous snakes, in here as well. Very, very interesting reprints, honestly. Will it be used? Fuck no. No, not at all. But it also has damage equals reptile, which doesn't make sense as a reprint either. It's just basically because of reptiles, and that's it. But that's not really that good of a reprint. But besides that, that's all the reprints, all the stuff for the Abhyss archetype. Now let's get into the next archetype. The next archetype in Ancient Guardians is Solfachord. Now, this is a new pendulum archetype in the game, which, you know, is getting Triff's pants very wet right now. But is it a very good archetype? Yes, this is another card, or another deck I did a card analysis on. So if you want to do, so I go more into full detail, I'll put that in the link to the description down below. Now, it is a very good archetype. You can get out monsters pretty fast and stuff like that. It doesn't really have an end board right now. It gets more support in Dawn of Majesty as well, with a Link 2 monster, surprisingly. I guess that's meaning Electromite's never coming off the ban list. That's unfortunate. But yeah, so it's going to be very interesting. Right now, it has to be splashed with other pendulum archetypes and stuff like that. Right now, there's other pendulums decks that do better than what this deck can do, but it's getting more support in the future, so, you know, we have a couple things we need to look out for. You know, Dawn of Majesty's bringing that new support in. You know, they can unban Electromite and stuff like that, and maybe, just maybe, this deck can do something. But so right now, it's like, it's a good deck, but, you know, it's not doing anything special. You know, other pendulum decks can do something better than this and stuff like that. On for the name change, though, I kind of like the name change. The original name was Doremichord. You know, Solfachord is kind of, you know, along the same lines kind of thing for the archetype. So I'm fine with this name change, actually. I kind of like Solfachord. So, I'm not going to, you know, complain like I did with, you know, whatever the Abhyss rename was. But Solfachord is a very good one. Yeah, so if you want to find out more detail about this deck, I'll put a link in the description down below to my full card analysis video on this. But without further ado, though, let's get into the reprints this deck is getting with. So the Solfachord reprints go as a follow. The Luster Pendulum stuff is getting a reprint in here. So Luster Pendulum, the Draco Slayer, of course, is in here alongside with the Dinoster Power and the Ignister Prominence, and then the Magister Paladin, the Ascending Draco Slayer. You know, the stuff that, you know, could get pulled out with Luster Pendulum and stuff like that. This kind of helps out, you know, the Doremichord archetype pull out some extra deck monsters. Ignister was recently went to 3, because now we know, because Ignister Prominence was now getting a reprint in Ancient Guardians to help out the Solfachord archetype. Again, not the worst thing in the world, you know, but it's like, there could be better. Get Electromite, you know, Jackal, Mythical Beast Jackal is also a very good card that could have been reprinted in here as well. But yeah, here you go. There's the reprints for the Solfachord monsters, at least, as the Luster Pendulum stuff. So very interesting. Now let's get into, I think, the spells for the reprints of Solfachords. So the spells now are Ignite Reload, Wavering Eyes, and Pot of Riches. Now, Ignite Reload can help you, you know, get some shit out of your hand that you don't want to see. Wavering Eyes is a very good card that can destroy, you know, 2 pendulum zones and then help you search out another pendulum monster kind of thing. Pot of Riches is probably the worst one out of all of them, because yes, you get to shuffle 3 pendulum monsters into the deck from your graveyard and or face up extra deck and then draw 2 cards, but then you cannot summon for the rest of your turn except for by Pendulum Summon, which is very, very hard, even for a pendulum deck. You know, that's still, you know, that's a lot of things going for it. That's a lot of restriction to the things. But Pot of Riches is getting a reprint, however, so that's going to be very interesting. You know, Wavering Eyes, you know, the Wavering Eyes and Ignite Reload, you know, they're very good spell cards for the Pendulum archetype. So, you know, those are 2 very good reprints. But Pot of Riches is like, you take it or leave it kind of thing. So yeah, that is the that is it for the reprints for the Solfachord archetype. Now let's get into the next and final archetype. And then the final archetype, and the one I am most excited for, is the Ursarctic archetype. I think that's how you pronounce it. We're not going back to Google Translate. I think that's how you pronounce it. Ursarctic, I like to say, because, you know, I'm from the West Coast, you know, cacti and stuff like that. But yeah, so this is one of my favorite archetypes coming out of this Ancient Guardians. It's kind of like a rip-off Drytron kind of thing. So if you don't know, the Bearcti, or, you know, they used to be called Bearcti. I kind of like the Bearcti naming better. So what they do is they contribute a level 7 or level 8 monster from their hand. All of the monsters have that same effect. They contribute, then special summon themselves, and then they gain effect depending on what you summon and what's on your field at the time as well. But that's not the important thing. The important thing is all of them are quick effects. So you can all quick effect tribute themselves, special summon them onto the field. So during your opponent's turn, you can still play with this deck, you know, stuff like that. And a lot of them do have interruption stuff. There's one that if you have another Bearcti monster on the field, you can flip one face down. There's another one if you control another Bearcti, you can destroy one spell or trap. You know, there's another one if you special summon this card from your hand, you can special summon another Ursarctic from your hand and stuff like that. Very good. I think the only thing it's missing is kind of like a Ben 10 like effect. You know, if this card is tributed, you get to add something kind of thing. I think that's the only thing this archetype is missing, and I very much love this archetype. So much fun to play with. They also have a new synchro summoning mechanic along with them as well. It's not just, you know, the monsters. So the new synchro summoning mechanic is you synchro summon based off the level difference. So if you use a level 7 monster with a level 8 tuner, instead of going to a level 15 monster, you go into a level 1 monster, because the difference between 7 and 8 is 1 that goes, or 7 and 8 is 1, and so that's how the synchro summon works with the Bearcti. You go to the difference, and the 1 difference will help you go into the level 1. So it's very interesting, the new synchro summoning mechanic and stuff like that. They also have a field spell that is just ridiculous, that can, you know, if you have 7 counters on it, any special summon gets a counter onto itself, and then once it has 7 counters and you control a Bearcti synchro monster, you can just take any monster your opponent controls. I think it does target though, which is the unfortunate part, but like, come on. And then it helps out the Bearcti monsters. Like, if your Bearcti monster would tribute summon a card, you can also just banish a Bearcti monster instead, kind of thing. Really love this archetype. You can clearly tell this is the longest of all of the 3 archetypes I'm going into. Very much love this. But if you want to see more full detail, again, I did a card analysis video on this deck as well. I'll put it in the link in the description down below if you do want more info on this deck. But without further ado, let's get into the reprints this deck is. So the Bearcti reprints, there's only 2 of them, yeah. Rare's Rock Sunrise was known because once the archetype got revealed, Rare's Rock Sunrise was revealed to be one of the reprints they were having. But that's about it. Trade-in technically counts as well. If you discard 1 level 8 monster, draw 2 cards. This, you know, can also go with Abhyss. That's why I put it in the generic reprints. But this also can go for Bearcti as well, because they have a lot of level 8 monsters in their deck. But it's just, that's it. Honestly, well, it kind of makes sense. One of the archetypes had to be, you know, didn't get that much reprint, because, you know, they still have to, it's only a 60 card deck. That's a very short, that's a very small set, considering you're having reprints alongside it as well, and releasing 3 archetypes in the game. So, you know, this got the short end of the stick of Rare's Rock Sunrise. But that's it for the reprints, though. Let's get into my grade for Ancient Guardians. So my Ancient Guardians grade, I'm going to be covering meta, overall, and if you should buy. As you can see, meta grade is a complete F. There is nothing in this in this set that's going to change the meta whatsoever. Maybe Bearcti and maybe Solfachord, but that fight, they need to get more support. They need things getting off the ban list in the case of Solfachord and stuff like that. It's just like they need more support. The starting off point is good, but they need more support for them to become meta. And I really want more support for the Bearcti or the Ursarctic, whatever, how the fuck you pronounce that. But I like Bearcti better. So the meta grade is F, just because there's nothing in here that's going to change the meta whatsoever. I really do like Bearcti though. I hope that gets more support. Overall though, I give it a C-. Now, this is very interesting because that is still a very low grade. Again, to buy the pack itself, I think it's like whatever. Bearcti is good, Solfachord is good, and Abhyss is good as well. Maybe I put it too hard as a C-, maybe like a C+, B-. All 3 archetypes are very fun to play with, But again, it's just there's no meta in there. You know, the reprints are like okay and stuff like that. We've seen better deck building sets, so that's why I gave it an overall of C. Even though I do like some of the archetypes in there, I gotta be relevant. You know, it's not, you know, it's going to be very hard to open these packs and get the archetypes straight away, kind of thing. So that's an overall C minus. And then if you should buy, hell no. If you're going to buy anything, buy the singles from this set. You know, if you want to buy the... Thank you, firefighter. But if you should buy, no, you should just buy the singles or buy the deck cores or whatever you can do. Because buying the set itself, I don't think is worth it. So if you're going to buy anything from the set, if you want anything from the set, just buy the singles instead, kind of thing. If you want the Collector's Rare, Dino Wrestler, Pinkertots, just buy it and save yourself a couple of bucks. You know what I mean? So yeah, that is it for the video. I hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you did, leave a like and subscribe for more content on the channel. I do upload every single day except for Saturday and Sunday. I hope to see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.